Okay, we're back on Algebra 1, Section 1.2, Order of Operations, something most of us have learned about since we were in elementary school. You probably have heard it referred to as Pemdas. Maybe please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. One thing I want to note, P for parentheses. Doesn't just mean parentheses, it means all grouping symbols. Okay, so that would be the common parentheses we're used to and refer to it as, but it also means brackets and it means braces, and there's more we'll learn about later, but that's the three we'll focus on now. Keep in mind, it's possible to have all of those in one problem. We just start on the inside and work our way out. We'll get into that a little bit. E is for exponents. We just talked about exponents and bases. So that might look something like 2 to the third, but just bear in mind this is also an exponent. Okay, we'll learn about it later, but that would be done in the same step as an exponent. This part is a little bit tricky because you've always heard of it as multiply and divide. But those are not necessarily done in that order. This is really combined. We're going to do those from left to right, regardless of the order. Okay, so if you have 2 times 3 divided by 2, you're going to do 2 times 3 is 6. 6. Let me do it this way. I don't want it to get any more confusing than it already is. So that's going to be equal to 6 divided by 2, which equals 3, which is just like the order that we see it in. But if we had 6 divided by 3 times 2, we would do that as 2. 6 divided by 3 is 2 times 2 equals 4. So in this case, we multiplied first. And in this one, we divided first. Again, the important thing is on these two, left, I don't know why this pen is kind of glitchy, to right. All right. We're going to do the same thing here on add and subtract. We will also go from left to right. Regardless of how they're written. So 4 plus 2 minus 3 would be 6 minus 3, which is 3. But 4 minus 2 plus 3 would be 4 minus 2 is 2 plus 3 equals 5. Okay, so same scenario as we did a second ago on multiply and divide. Those four, you have to do the multiplication and division before you move on to addition and subtraction, but it doesn't matter which one you do first. Well, it does. You go left to right. Okay, so we're going to look at some examples. Alright, we're going to go to Alright, we'll just start with, we'll do an easy one to start with. 2 is 5 squared plus 7. So we know that there's no parentheses. We do have an exponent, so that's got to come first. 5 squared is 25. And we're just going to carry everything else over. We've done the exponents. There's no multiplication. There's no division. There is addition. That's it. Let's see here. Go to a little more difficult. Let's look at number 10. We've got 8 times the quantity of 15 minus 7. Okay, so that's going to be 8 times, because we got parentheses, we've got to do what's inside parentheses first. 15 minus 7 is 8. Now the only thing we have left is multiplication. So 8 times 8 is 64. Let's see here. Let's do number 14. You've got 12 minus 8 plus 7 over 3. Okay, so we've got no parentheses. We've got no exponents. We've got no multiplication, but we do have division, because this line right here is division. It's whenever this quantity is divided by this quantity. So that gets a little bit tricky because there's no real grouping symbol there, but we can't divide 3 by 8 plus 7. So on this one, we have to treat the numerator as a grouping symbol. So that's really 12 minus 15 divided by 3. So treat the numerator as a group. Okay, now we have division. We've got 12 minus 15 divided by 3 is 5. The only thing left now is the subtraction, so 12 minus 5 is 7. Alright, so that's a little trickier. This 8 plus 7 kind of throws it off a little bit from what we've been doing. Okay, we're going to step it up a notch again. Let's look at number 26. We've got 2, and I said earlier you may have more than one grouping symbol in one problem. So we got 2 times the quantity of 4 minus 1 squared plus quantity of 3 plus 5 squared, and all of that plus 1. Okay, you'll see that when I do these, as much math as I've done, I still do it one step at a time. I'm going to leave this and this alone. Starting on the inside, I've got 4 minus 1, so 4 minus 1 becomes 3 squared plus 3 plus 5 is 8 squared plus 1. Now, even though I still have these brackets, I have to take care of these exponents first. We got 2, 3 squared is 9, 8 squared is 64, plus 1. Now I can do the inside. 2 times 9 plus 64, 73, plus 1. Multiplication. 2 times 73 is 146, plus 1 is 147. All right, so we had to do the exponents here before we could do these grouping symbols. Yeah, so it's... All right, let's do one more. Let's look at number 32. We've got 32 minus 3 times the quantity of 5 times the quantity of 2 plus 1 minus 3 times the quantity of 4 minus 2, close parentheses, close brackets. Okay. Kind of the same scenario. Got to do the grouping symbols on the inside first. So all of this stays the same. 32 minus 3 times the quantity of 5. This is the first thing I'm going to do, minus 3 times whenever that ends up being. 2 plus 1 is 3. 4 minus 2 is 2. Now I can do what's inside here. 32 minus 3 times 5 times 3 is 15. Minus 3 times 2 is 6. 32 minus 3. 15 minus 6 is 9. 32 minus 3 times 9 is 27, leaving me with 5. Okay, so those will take a little bit of practice because some of them get a little bit tricky when you have multiple quantities inside of grouping symbols, exponents attached to them. Some things that you're going to have to kind of figure out, the numerator trick. Some of those are a little bit different, but we got to get a little creative and make sure we get those in the right order.